Yo.
Yo, what up?
Yo, let's kick this off right.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Hey.
Happy birthday, dear Louis.
Louis? And
Yeah.
Loose Cannons?
And the Loose Cannons.
Okay.
We're doing that because we just had your birthday pass.
Yes.
Before we recorded last week.
Yes.
And the Loose Cannons birthday pass.
Hey.
Yo, we 1 year.
Yeah, we 1 year.
1 year we've been on this journey of creating content for the world and for us specifically.
Exactly.
Because we love this shit.
Yes, we do.
Yo, listen, let's kick this off right. I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
Listen, we are the Loose Cannons because every week we're firing off our opinions on today's pop culture.
Yes.
Politics.
Yes.
Movies.
Yes.
And how they all intersect.
Exactly.
We got to kick this off right. This is going to be a great show for you guys. We didn't go to the theater.
No, we didn't.
We stayed at home and we hit the queue.
Yes.
We watched a Netflix film.
Yes, we did.
Highly anticipated, produced by Spike Lee.
Yes.
Not directed, not written, but just produced
40
by
Acres
40 Acres and a Mule.
Yep.
See You Yesterday.
Yes.
It's all over the gram. People are talking about it, and so are we.
Yes, we are.
Before we get into there, we got to kick it off with This Week in Social.
Yeah.
Listen, we got a lot going on in social media.
Movies took a break this week.
Yes.
But social media did not.
It did not at all. Okay, so some people are locked up.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Some people are locked up.
Not in the States.
And the pesos don't matter.
Yeah, it don't at all.
It don't matter. A$AP Rocky.
Yo.
Did you see the video of him trying to de-escalate the situation?
All right. So I seen the video of him de-escalating trying to literally telling the dude yo, don't follow us. Stop following us. This
they switched directions 4 or 5 times.
And this.
Yo, bro, chill. Go somewhere. Go somewhere. Bro. Go ahead. Go somewhere.
Go that way. Go that way.
What?
Just go that way.
Keep following niggas. Go the other way.
He's following us. Go that way.
Fight retreat. No, bro. Nobody wants to fight with him, bro. Go that way, bro.
Go that way.
Nobody wants to fight with him. Go that way.
My headphone, you're crossing.
Bro.
You're crossing my headphone. Give me my headphone.
Go that way.
Give me my headphone.
Yo, we gonna have to fix these niggas, bro.
You're fucking my headphone.
Dude, and then to find out at the end of that first video where he's de-escalating everything, the same dude who's chasing them had just hit a girl.
Yes.
So I was just like, ooh. And I was like, but why he got locked up for this? And then I saw the other video.
I see. I didn't see the fight video.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I thought they didn't release that.
Man, yo.
They beat him up bad?
Yo, they look like they from Harlem.
Oh, they jumped. They stomped him out. Oh,
I mean, that's the reason why he's arrested. I mean, if it was...
I mean, it shouldn't have been that bad because they weren't wearing Timbs.
Right.
So to get stomped out in moccasins, it's
you should be good.
You should be good. You can walk that off.
Yeah,
walk
but
that
I
off
mean, the dude is... You could tell in the video he's really aggressive.
Yes.
And literally, everyone is trying to stop the situation from happening.
Please, sir.
And the dude is just following him, chasing him. And I mean, the next video is literally
Then ladies step in. They say, hey, can we tell him who you are?
Right.
No, don't tell him who we are. Just tell him to go the other way.
Right.
Hit the security guard before anything.
Yep, exactly. Yo.
And that didn't even turn right there.
I don't know, man.
So they got stomped out. So who did the video of them getting stomped out? Because I thought they had strategically released just the part of them de-escalating the situation. Because that's all I would have done.
No, so I don't think it was just them though.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I think it was.
Yep.
So I think that's how the other video got out because by that time it was like a done deal. It was a done deal.
Now I was listening to the Brilliant Idiots podcast, and they were saying that apparently the Swedish police didn't even know what happened until they saw the video.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know how this situation occurs. And I mean, the uproar about him being arrested, that's not even the thing.
Yeah.
It's the thing about him. And now, I mean, the tough thing is you don't know what to take at face value because I feel like a lot of the news that is coming from his camp, but it's more of a sign to get the U.S. involved rather than...
And the U.S. isn't getting involved. So check this. So I was listening to a podcast, and on the podcast, one of the dudes who works on the podcast, he was arrested in Sweden for a fight. He got into a fight with a bouncer. Apparently, bouncers are considered public officials. So therefore, he got locked up for that. Now, he said, your first step is inhumane. They put you in a box with a little like mat, and they say nothing to you. They leave you in there for almost 24 hours. He feels like they do that in hope for you to just give them all the information. Right. But he said after that, the jail is not like U.S. jails. He said it really is a decent situation, as decent as jails can be. You're still locked up. But the problem is there is no bail. And when you're not from that country, there's no, they're not letting you out because they don't believe you'll return. And they're right. You won't return.
Chances are, right.
You won't return. But the problem with this situation is we've seen the beforehand.
Right.
And if they had access to the second video, they have access to the first video. Right. And we realized that they attempted as many times as they could to de-escalate the situation. Right. So we feel, everybody else feels, this should be over.
But I think that's our issue with thinking that everywhere else is just like here.
It's not.
I think that they don't have the same policy and procedure as far as throwing cases out.
Yes.
So from what I've heard is he literally has to go to trial for the judge to throw out the case.
Got you.
And that's the whole reason why he's still locked up and no one can intervene. So,
now, this is the question. Is it a racial thing? Because the point that they're bringing up is that they're saying that Sweden is very racial. They're very racist. That's what they're saying. And they're experiencing an influx, especially in their festivals now. A bunch of hip-hop acts are being involved in their festivals. Are they trying to use him as an example of don't act like this when you come to Sweden?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, from personal experience and from things that I've heard, it's like, especially in the major cities, it's nothing like this. So it's not like, and then to know that anyone who gets arrested, regardless of race, goes through the same situation. Then it's tough to be like, oh, well, this was race-driven.
And they let them do the concert.
Right.
They didn't. They don't fuck up They allowed him to come in because they said, we just want to talk to you.
Right.
At that point, I would have been like, because, I mean, the problem is you have the American mindset. Right. And then the American mindset, it's like, dog, self-defense.
Right.
Get me out with my lawyer. I'll be out in the morning.
Right.
Everybody don't operate like that.
Exactly.
You may not be out in the morning. But you know what? If the jail is like they're saying it is, it's not too bad. But some people spend months in there.
See, so this was my thing, right? They're going to be like, yo, the jail is inhumane. It's this, that, and the other. They won't let him speak to his lawyers. If they won't let him speak to his lawyers, how are you speaking to him? How do you know what he's going through? Like, that's where it's just like, it's the confusion where it's just like, I feel like it's just a lot of talk without knowing the exact situation. Like, no one wants to be in jail. I understand this.
No one.
So we're going to do anything in our powers.
Yes.
But then we have half a society who's like, oh, well, remember that stuff he was talking about our people over here? Oh, we're not over there, so I don't know what he's
like. And this is the thing. Okay. It's not about not defending ASAP.
Right.
It's about ASAP need to now come home and do a Meek Mill documentary.
Right.
Because, like, homeboy, the world was telling you
that this
4 years ago that this is happening. You was like, I just fuck bitches.
Right.
You know? So now
I
you
don't
understand.
live in Ferguson. I live in Soho.
Get jiggy in the Sweden jail. How that feel?
Yeah.
How that feel? You getting jiggy in the Sweden jail?
You right.
No, come on. Like, now you need to understand that there are injustices. But this is the one thing that even if it's not a crazy injustice, this is the one thing that's weird. We all feel like we understand the embassy system.
Right.
And if something happened to you, you expect the embassy to be able to step in.
Right.
I'm hearing that the embassy is unable to step in. Right. I don't know if they don't want to step in, but they're saying that the embassy, because of Sweden,
they're not doing more
in.
than like if it was somebody else. But then the whole thing is, then is that still an American problem? And
that's the American problem.
You understand what I mean?
Because the Swedish people might be looking at it like, yo, they was in a fight.
Right.
We know they was in a fight. But this is our system, and when he processed through the system, fine. Now, is it because the Americans are saying we are not defending this rapper?
Right. See, so then my whole thing is now, like, in order to clear Sweden, you would have to find cases in which they've treated their celebrities the same.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, all right. That was one down.
Free ASAP. Free ASAP. Well, we got a lot of stuff that was going on in social media. Listen, okay. Listen, everybody has their own hang-ups. You know, I wasn't built perfect. No one's built perfect.
What was your thing growing up? What was
my
your
thing?
Yeah, that you got on, that they got on you for.
Oh, that they got on because I was fat.
Oh, okay.
But I never acted like okay. All right. Short guy, big bagel.
Okay.
All right. Listen, if you've been on social media this week, you definitely have seen this guy
at least once.
At least
even
once.
If you just seen the interview and you was
You've
like, "Why
grown
is he
up with this guy?"
Yes.
I've grown up. See, I have had the benefit of my height is in between.
Right.
I wasn't the short guy, but I damn sure wasn't the tall athlete.
Yeah.
But I can hang up on I'm regular height, shorty. Come get you a regular height, home. You know.
I feel you.
Come on.
So
listen.
For those who don't know,
yes.
This guy goes on the only tirade, the only tantrum in this bagel shop in New York.
Yes.
Is that okay? Why is it okay for women to say, "Oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead"? That's okay.
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that shit up? Everywhere I go, I get the same fucking smirk with the biting lip. Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss. Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside? Huh? I'm not scared of you, pal.
Enough.
You shut up, too.
Shut the fuck up.
Go ahead and attack me, Jake.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I just wanted bagels. I recorded the whole thing.
And I don't know what set him off, but then he's just like... I
don't know. Life set him off.
Yeah, something happens, and he's like... Oh, because I'm short, whatever, yes. and the person behind
the lady
like,
made a look at him. The lady, I know that look in the bite of her lip.
No one even said anything. He was like, but I've heard it before. Like, man, come on. And I mean, at that point, he's like going off on everybody.
Yes.
You're not my boss, not my mom, not my father, not anyone. And then the other guy, he's like, "Oh, you want to hit? Go ahead, hit me." And then in New York, you don't say something like that.
See, you know what? See, Starbucks has it right. I think he got set off because he ordered a coffee and she was like, "Do you want a small?" And he was like, "Ah!"
He had that trigger word. Turned into the
word. She said small. See, at Starbucks, they would have said what, venti? They would have used all kinds of weird words. But she said small.
And he lost it.
He lost it. Okay, listen. All right, boom. Check this out. I kind of felt bad because I know those guys.
Right.
He's short with no swag.
Right. Yeah.
And listen, it's partially parents' fault. If your kid comes in the house and they start growing up and you see their height slowing down at a certain point, you've got to instill way more confidence and swag.
Yes.
And they'll be fine. Right. Short guys with swag win.
Right, exactly.
But short guys balding with no swag don't win ever.
Yeah.
So I know he's getting hate on. He's not, first of all, and another thing, if you're short with no swag, lower your expectation. You're not getting a supermodel.
Because he was on Tinder, right? It was something about
he was
online
on some dating site.
Yeah.
Online dating. Stop looking for the 10s.
Yeah. Stop. Don't right swipe for them.
It only takes 21 days to change a habit, all right? Your new habit needs to be 5s to 7s, and then you're winning.
Yeah. He could Google short man with tall women all day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, get yourself a midget. They got fat asses.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
1 year in, we still aren't politically correct. Listen, short guy, big bagel, big problems.
Look, we good. If you've seen it, go check it out. Let's just, I was just going to say, let's move on. The next one should be easier. God damn.
Listen,
man.
We move from one handicap situation to another. Listen, everybody, the most beautiful place that everybody wants to go. That kids come, they look up to you and they say, Daddy, please take me to Disneyland so I can see Mickey, Minnie, and a handicapped lady get pushed out of her wheelchair because her son is fighting another person. No, sorry, they don't say that part. But this is what happened when people went to Disney.
You don't want to go to Disney and see a mixed martial arts fight?
First of all, I thought it was an attraction. I'm like, damn.
This is good.
This is good.
I don't give a fuck, bitch. Oh my God!
Because I was like, oh, okay, I know they got the Indiana Jones. I know they got the Incredibles. I thought this was the World Star Hip Hop attraction. I was like, I'm like, oh, they taking it like, like live action. This is live action.
Right. Yeah.
This is live action.
Yo, but I didn't know until like a few days ago, this was one family. This is,
First of all, my wife and I sat upstairs in the living room and did Stephen A. breakdown. We kept watching it and realized that they all left the same direction. Yeah. I don't think they came in different vehicles.
Yo, they didn't get arrested.
They didn't?
They're telling the cops that nothing happened. Like, the cops didn't even have the videotape to know what happened yet.
Nothing. We good. Nothing.
Yo. I just can't. Yo, he's hitting everyone. Anyone. Oh, yo, if you got my last name or close to it, you catching these hands.
You catching these hands.
He got until he got choked out. Because that would have been me. I would have choked him
First of all, that was perfectly executed, and that guy's been waiting. He's been studying his BJJ for 3 years now.
Waiting for that rear naked choke.
He's never been able to put that full-on rear naked choke because that sent that, and that man was big.
Yeah,
he sat him down. Yeah. He sat him down.
And stay there too.
Stay there, and he was out. Yeah, he came in like a ninja.
Yep. I was like, where'd he come from?
Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne was in Disneyland.
I was like, how he end up on the ground? I had to rewind it a couple times. Oh, okay, all right.
And then he got, who choked me out?
Yeah.
Who choked me out? Like he was going to be like, that was me. Like he's going to have the drumstick in his mouth. Like, yeah, that was me. That was me that choked you out.
I just, all right, so I mean, obviously we're going to talk about family later on, but... this is when when you come back home, like if this was my family and they'd be like, you wouldn't even know what happened. I'd be like, that's why his ass was in jail 5 years ago and we should have left him out there. Like, y'all was out here mortgaging the house to get him out. Look at what he do to y'all. That's why I don't go nowhere with y'all. See, that's
First of all, who told grandma to pull up?
Oh my God. Yo. I wondered, because it's like.
She didn't get hit though.
It had to be. What I was thinking was, so after I found out I was a family, I was like, all right, so that has to be the brother and like the sister who was fighting in the beginning.
It has to be.
And that's her husband.
Yes.
Because like you're not going to hit, like if you going to hit someone like your family in front of people, like you that mad, then your mama trying to get in the middle of it, and then your girl say whatever, you try to hit your girl. I was like, yo, what?
He hit, first of all, that's not the first time he hit his girl.
You could tell. Easily.
You don't just, but.
Not saying that, I mean, I got a background in it. I'm just saying, you could tell when someone ain't got no restraint. Like,
you know who's the troublemaker? The other lady who said that she hit Mama, because she didn't hit Mama. Mama fell out. I think what Mama was trying to do was like, if I fall out
they'll stop.
and fake a seizure, they'll stop.
Right.
But no.
The fight just kept going on and she got up later. Like I was
it kept going. Okay. It kept going. First, it was too hot out there for Mama anyway. I didn't see no water in sight.
None.
Mama looked dehydrated.
Yeah. Because you ain't buying no $15 water at Disneyland. No. Anyways, I look.
Okay. Listen. Okay. I found out that the only place in Florida that does not have guns is Disneyland. Because where was the security guards? No. What if something crazy happens?
But this wasn't Florida. This was Cali.
This was the California Disneyland?
Yeah. Disney World is in Florida.
See, I missed my Disney's up. So this is California Disneyland.
Yeah. And I mean, these dudes was on break. Like, they was like, we never get this.
First of all, where was the security?
And they all showed up at the same time. So that means that one or two showed up and they were like, we'll wait for backup.
Where's the other? I thought it was like under tunnels for them to like zip down. First of all, the mall security is better than the Disneyland security.
Look, I would have pulled
First of all, they might need to hire Old Navy Station.
Oh my God.
She would have been there.
She would have been there.
She would have been on it.
She would have followed them from the gate.
Wait, did you see the guy in the suit sent the other guy to follow him? I thought they was going to get him. They was out. They got in the car. They knew it was over.
Yep.
Day was over.
Next. Like this
Disneyland Brawl. All right. Listen. Disneyland Brawl. But you know what? Some people say, what do you think? Money grows on trees? Nope. But it falls out of armored trucks.
It sure does.
It falls out of armored trucks on the highway.
And look, I see
Atlanta.
I see some money on the ground, believe me. I already said this. I already know how cameras work. I already know how the system works.
Yes.
I'm pulling off around the corner like I left.
That's
and
it.
I'm coming back.
That's it.
Because you already know they already got people to come back and drop off some money.
First of all, I want to say something to the camera. Whoever took that video and sent that out to the authorities,
your mom's a hoe.
Snitches get stitches. And your mama's a hoe. Because that was just, first of all, you tried to block those people's blessings. Yeah. God don't like ugly.
The Lord layeth down the cash.
That's it.
That was it.
That's it.
All those people had to pay rent. That's it. Like they had their bills. Like they was like, what are we gonna do with the kids this summer? God bless them.
That's it.
That was it.
Rain down on me.
I don't understand, man.
Listen,
I don't understand.
I'm getting out.
Tell me what your plan is.
I'm getting out. If it ever happens again, I know that somebody's stupid enough to record
and put it up.
I'm definitely covering my face. I'm definitely covering my face. I'll take the penalty because I'm going to get enough for it to be worth it.
Right.
I don't need no lawyer. I can take a public defender. It was not me. I don't even have to say that. I'm just not going to say nothing.
Right.
Come and get me. Come get the license plate. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mrs. Tuggle, you sure this isn't you?
I was changing my tire.
Okay.
I thought I had a flat.
Look,
I was recording.
You didn't get my tape? My tape was right behind that one.
Hold on. What's the FBI address again? I must have got the wrong one. 100 Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Area 51. Is that the zip code?
Yo, so I mean, I've seen enough of these money grab shows to know. All right, so the first thing you do is you tuck your shirt in.
Your shirt in.
And then when you get out there, you got both hands and you dump it inside the shirt.
Now your shirt is a receptacle.
Right.
You don't have to just hold on for the flying bills.
Thank you. Because I see people do it all the time. Look, take note.
Both of us is getting out, so you grab and we both tuck it into my shirt, and we good.
We good. We out here.
We good.
We out here.
It's cash money.
Loose Cannons is now endorsed.
First of all, if you see us all of a sudden with all new equipment and a new setup,
we got the Tiger over here.
Our armored truck just had the bills fly out.
Yep.
It's not my fault. It's that guy.
Exactly.
It's their fault.
Look. The money's insured.
This is the thing that's what's silly about the whole police investigation. The money was just going to be blown away.
Right.
So what are you preventing? It's not like they could have came back and got those bills.
Right.
It's going to be blown away. Everywhere.
I don't know, man.
First of all, and you don't even know where I got it from.
Right.
I could have been over at the Kmart over here and then $100 bills just blew into my hand. I don't know that it came out of armored truck. It's silly. It's almost unprosecutable.
Right. The armored truck is insured. Whatever company they took the money from, insured. Like wherever they dumped the money, insured. Yo, look. Let us get this money. We'll talk about this another day. You know.
First of all, isn't this what Andrew Yang was talking about? I thought that was the Yang armored truck. I thought that was the Yang truck.
He was starting it right there.
That's what.
Middle of Atlanta. Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
Welcome.
Here we go.
Yep.
UBI. Listen, everybody's out here trying to get this money, including Spinderella.
Yes, she is.
Spinderella is trying to get this money.
Yo, Salt and Pepper been pretty tight. Like,
yeah.
So they got contracts.
Yeah.
They had a TV show the last few years.
I remember it.
A couple festivals, couple performances, and they've been like Salt and Pepper, and that's it.
That's it.
But if you know Salt and Pepper been a crew of 3 ladies.
3, yes.
Not 2.
Yes.
So Spinderella out here like, I was waiting for all y'all to cash in on these chips.
Yeah.
So I could get my cut for the work I didn't have.
And that's when you do it. You wait for the deposits to clear. You
Yep.
gotta hit the account.
So Spinderella is suing Salt and Pepper for millions. She says
Millions
that
of dollars.
they got paid that she didn't get.
I didn't know the Salt and Pepper was making millions.
Salt and Pepper's here.
Damn.
Yeah. So
That's a lot of seasoning she asking
Right.
for. She probably gonna get it.
I was gonna say that's like if the Loose Cannons blow up and our invisible producer over here.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, y'all ain't take me with you. And
Yeah.
You know we all been the Loose
We've been
Cannons.
doing this.
Yeah.
We did this together.
Don't worry, we ain't got nobody back here.
Nobody.
If something happened in the background, it's a ghost.
Listen, if they did her dirty, get your money, queen.
Yes, exactly.
Get your money, queen. We got to be
that
fair.
money.
Now, okay. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting.
This was a topic on the
Red Table Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Jada Pinkett. I forgot who she had to guess. Who the guest was.
The chick from Sex and the City.
Yes.
The non-famous one.
Yes.
The least of
Yes.
them.
Yes.
I
One
hate
is
to
a
put that way, I'm
politician
sorry.
now.
One's a politician.
Yep.
The other one's older, and the
Yep.
other one's Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, everybody knows
and
her.
then the fourth one, brunette.
Yeah.
That's the one
Pretty
that we
cute.
talk about. Yeah.
All right. So I don't even know. She adopted a black
Yes.
child.
Mm-hmm.
So the topic was, should white people adopt black children?
Yes.
How has raising black children made you more aware of white privilege?
This is what I want to say from a white person adopting. You absolutely do not fully understand. There's no doubt.
Right.
There's no doubt. There's no way you could.
Right. Yeah.
Because you could understand that you live in white privilege, and that's a theory, and you could see things.
Right.
But it's one thing to be watching it, happening to other
people.
and it's another thing when it's your child.
Yes.
And you haven't personally been through it. It's a big issue. It's something that I think about every day and every night.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. How do you feel? Tell me what you think, sir.
I think it's silly to want children to go unadopted.
Yes.
But I also find it silly for people of a different hue to not understand that experiences are different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anybody should feel free to adopt any color child that you want.
Right.
But be prepared that you will have to do some additional work to prepare that child for the life that they're going to exist in.
Right.
There's no amount of money that's going to insulate a child, especially in the society that we currently live in.
Right.
Even in your cocoon in which you create a great environment for them, there's still the full environment of the world that's out there. So you have to prepare yourself. Plus, if it's a girl child, you're going to have to learn how to do a certain different type of hair.
Right.
And it's different.
Yes,
if it's
it
a boy
is.
child, you're going to have to take him to the barbershop. And it's different. You can't take a black boy to Supercuts. It's not going to work out. You cannot take him to Supercuts. So when you're taking on a responsibility like that, you also are taking on the responsibility of equipping that child to deal with society and also educate that child about the culture in which they intrinsically come from.
Correct.
And when you do all of those things, I'm fine with it.
Right.
Love on whoever. Take care of all the children that you want. But I do feel like it's a weird thing that goes on in the United States of America in which it feels like people like to adopt exotic children. Like, just, oh yeah, almost like an extra piece of philanthropy. Like,
I feel you.
I got a black child. It's almost like it's like a weird thing, but that's not everybody.
Right.
That's not, some people are just like, you know what? oh wow, you know, I just got a paper and this person, and I was just like, I fell in love with them, and I want them to be a part of my family, and that's beautiful.
Right, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
So my big thing is, all right. So first and foremost, I'm 98% for adopting. Like, I don't care what I don't want to say I don't care what the background is, but like, to have parents and to have love is the most important thing.
Super important. Down. No matter who it comes from.
So my biggest thing is, would you rather a child be raised
by the system?
By the system.
No.
Or someone who's ill-prepared but is loving the child.
Ill-prepared but loving the child.
So that's my big thing.
Because the love will generally propel them in the way of seeking the information.
Right.
Plus, as people of color, we have to be open to have these conversations.
Right.
Because the red table talk and this conversation is important because some people haven't thought about it like that.
Right.
And now that they think about it like that, they'll seek those outlets.
Exactly.
They'll have that friend. It's like, ask them that question. It's like, yeah, hey, Jada, like, what kind of hair products do I put in their hair?
Right.
As black people don't know what type of hair products every black child needs. You ask questions.
So this is my worry is that people get defensive on that because I feel like it shouldn't even be a topic as should white people adopt black children, because let's say the one person who goes, hey Justin, like what should I do, this, that, and the other, and they go, you adopt a black child and don't know what you're supposed to do.
Silly.
Like that's like the closed front where it's just like we have to be more inclusive in those aspects so that they know that they can ask that question.
Absolutely.
And it's not confusing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise then it's just like, oh, you're just ill-informed. It's just like, well, I really didn't think I could come to anybody and ask these questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like my big thing. It's kind of like
open up the arms.
We all got to have open doors. So like,
we want kids to be adopted, period.
Right. Exactly. Because if the majority of kids are left in the system, that means that the minority is actually the kids being adopted. We want to change that number. So sometimes we can't pick and choose how we want them, because that's like an extra stipulation that was just like, oh, okay, so now we're just making the minority even smaller instead of making it a majority. That's a tough thing.
Listen, keep it going. If you feel it in your heart to adopt a child, to foster a child, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
It's an amazing thing to extend love to something that did not come from you or did not come out of your bloodline, but you bring them in as family. That's beautiful. That's just simply beautiful.
So do we make them say, na 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 na
na? Can it say, na 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 na? Listen, Master P.
Yes.
And Tyler Perry?
Yo,
beefing?
This is the best beef I ever heard in my life, yo.
I bumped into Tyler Perry right there, so I'm thinking, like, I don't really know, bro. I'm like, man, get out your feelings, dog. Like, I was thinking, like,
you had a run-in or something?
No, I don't even, like, it's just the spirits wasn't right. You know, like, you from New Orleans, you think now I'm doing movies. I guess maybe, like, man, now you're doing movies now, whatever, but I've been doing movies.
Right.
It was just, like, awkward, like you was scared or something, like, bro, you know, like, man, I'm happy for you. Right. I heard the speech he said on BET and all that, man, but guess what? We talked, maybe because 7 years ago we talked like, look, man, we just hook up and do something, but then you don't show up. But that's my first time seeing him, so I forgot about all that. We seen the thing with Tyler Perry talk about ownership, but man, look, we got to be real with each other. We got to come together. We got to stop at, you know, we can't be faking with each other. I think maybe, I remember, I said in the interview, one time I wouldn't put no dresser on. That's the truth. I don't care who it is. I ain't putting no dresser on to make no money.
I feel like Master P. You seen the Breakfast Club interview?
I seen part of it, yeah.
I feel like he was a little salty with something that happened with Tyler Perry. They probably were supposed to work earlier, but he also has said some things in the past about Tyler Perry, like a lot of people have said, like, I'll never wear a dress, this, that, and the third.
What do you feel about?
I think you understand how I feel about Tyler Perry. Yeah. I think I've grown even more to like Tyler Perry over the years in a particular way as a person who can create a lot.
Right.
It's just not always my cup of tea. But it doesn't need to always be my cup of tea. he's not creating for me.
Right.
I'm not his niche, and that's okay. But I respect what he's doing.
Exactly.
And I would actually be a part of one of his productions to feed the niche of people that he's working with.
Right.
And he's launched careers.
Exactly.
He's one of the reasons we have Idris Elba in the light that we have him. I believe he was the first time he was a leading man here in America in Daddy's Little Girls. So he's amazing at making content. He's amazing with his business savvy and what he's built in Atlanta.
Correct.
In all honesty, are people supporting Tyler Perry as much as they should and his compound in Atlanta? He should be booked out with every person of color's production that could be filmed there in Atlanta.
Right.
Overbooked.
Yep.
Overbooked. But it's not really.
No.
It's not really overbooked. But Master P was saying, like, he felt like Tyler Perry wasn't supporting him or didn't support him in the light for I Got the Hookup Too. It's like, it's so weird how like we build things so separate in our community, and it's like we allow ego to get in the way of us building things together.
Right.
And as we build things separately, all the people who are building things separately say, why aren't we all building stuff together?
Right.
It's like,
exactly.
Start with you.
Right.
Start with you.
So I understand what he's saying, and I understand that. Well, one, I don't think that Tyler Perry wants to support that message of I got the hookup.
I got the hookup.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the same way in which we don't see eye to eye with the message that Tyler Perry puts out most of the time. But I'm perfectly fine with understanding that, and I feel like you can't be, as Master P, you can't be bitter that he doesn't support your type of film or your story, and because that happens, I can't put my name on it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, like, it's tough, but go to somebody else or do something else, or if your doors are going to close and open everywhere.
Yes.
So you can't just be bitter because one person specifically who you thought would help didn't. At the end of the day,
he's literally launched his stations. They used Tyler Perry to launch OWN.
Right.
They used Tyler Perry to launch what do he have to bring back House when he had House of Pain. What channel was that on? It's not UPN because that's gone.
No. I can't even remember right now.
So on TBS,
Right.
He was on TBS. So he brought a lot of people to TBS. They're using Tyler Perry to launch the BET platform.
Right.
So literally, he has the people. He has the eyes.
Right.
And some of those people may be your people. And so just joining with him, period, and following his direction. I don't want to figure out how to build a studio, especially if Tyler Perry is open to say, I'll give you the blueprint.
Right.
Why focus and try to revolutionize that part when you can focus your energy on the other end?
Right.
Okay, are you gonna show me the way to the water? So okay, this is how I write. Okay, okay, so this is how you get all these things produced. This is how you pitch. This is how you build the studio. I'm following you as far as you can take me. Because you know what? As much as people want to talk about this dress stuff and they want to talk about it, listen. None of y'all stop watching Delirious. None of y'all stop. Eddie Murphy did it too. Some of the biggest comedians have done it. Why? Because it's comedy.
Right.
And maybe because they're a little more involved than you and feel like, you know what, this piece of garment that doesn't have the middle part sewn together doesn't make a difference.
But that's a big thing, like I said, is that sometimes you have to do the things that you don't want to do in order to, grease the gears that does what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Like we was having the conversation on Jordan Peele where I asked him, like, is he really a comedian or is this what he did in order to get his production company up, to start directing movies the way that he wanted, to get in the genre that he actually wanted to do?
Yes.
Like it makes sense where people are just like, oh, but the person is so great at it, it must be their passion. So I can see that. All right, maybe we don't even know. Tyler Perry may not even like Medea or like the character, but
he's probably done.
It's the thing that does everything behind what he wants to do. So
because while he's doing the next two Medeas, he was just in the movie Vice.
Right.
So he's moving.
Right.
He's moving and shaking and building. While you're complaining, I'll never put on a dress. he's got to the promised land. So you can quarrel about how you're going to get there. It's people equating like putting on the dress and giving your body to somebody else. It's like it's the same thing. It's not. It's not. We all do some things we don't want to do to get to where we want. And I'm pretty sure that the story is that he was trying to cast somebody and nobody could do it the way he wanted it to be done.
Right.
So he did it.
Right. And I feel like it's probably one of those things where you're just like, all right. We always talk about what our ancestors did. He's doing 4 Medea movies to generate the budget for 20 movies.
Yep.
You know? And it's just like, all right, well, why didn't he just do the 20 movies? Because he didn't have the money
He didn't have the money.
Nobody
or the
support,
clout.
right.
Exactly.
So I don't know. But that's just how I see it. But talking about money.
Talking about money. There's a lot of money, and talking about industry.
Right.
You know, one of the industries that, especially us being from the hip hop culture, fashion industry.
Yes.
We've had a lot of brands that have come out. We had Fubu, Cross Colors, Fat Farm, Echo, Aniche, LRG, all of these brands, but not many of them have lasted the test of time.
Right.
They don't get over a certain hurdle. They don't become legacy. Even the ones that we really love, and some of them who are out now, they don't reach even the Ralph Lauren level of legacy. They definitely don't reach the Louis Vuitton or Gucci level of legacy. And in the news was Dapper Dan.
Yes.
Dapper Dan from Harlem.
For those people who don't know.
People who don't know, quick history on Dapper Dan. He was one of the people who really made the style of today 40 years ago by creating logo mania.
Right.
Is what he called it.
Designing clothes in Harlem.
Yes.
Open almost all hours.
24 hours.
And, you know, if anybody remembers the Mike Tyson fight,
yes,
it was at Dapper Dan's.
At Dapper Dan's.
At 2 a.m.
He dressed all the celebrities and all the gangsters would come to him and he would outfit you in some crazy stuff. His story is really interesting. I'm going to get the book. But so Dapper Dan was talking about building and getting inside in order to create our own.
Right.
And one of the things that people kind of have a quorum with is they always say, well, you know, why don't our people support brands that our people make?
Right.
I have a problem with that even said because that's not true.
Right.
That's not. We have FUBU because our people support it. That's one of the things that people got to understand, especially in the United States. In the United States, minorities are still minorities. We may be something different in 2040, but in the past years, we're still a small percentage. Things bubble up and we create the culture, especially people in the hip hop culture. We create the culture and let it fizzle over to the point where it gets catapulted to all different types of people.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Because in every business, it starts with the early adopters. We are consistently the early adopters, and then the adopters, and then later people on the third wave, and then it gets bigger.
The masses, right?
You cannot become $1 billion company with just the early adopters.
Right.
You need the masses to make it something big.
You can't only sell to the minority.
You can't only sell to the minority. But there's a power in the minority of being able to create what the masses want.
To influence.
And influence is great as long as you keep influencing.
Right.
But some people are not satisfied with the idea of being the influencers and not understanding the long game. So what Dapper Dan was trying to explain is, we haven't been successful in the long game because we haven't had the information for the long game. When people talk about business, a lot of people don't understand distribution and the different things you have to go through when you're building a business globally. It's different when you're just selling in your state and in your country and a little bit global. When you have to open up stores globally, when you have to sell millions of dollars globally, it's a whole different ballgame. You may be able to sell one thing to a person on eBay in Europe. It's different when you're selling millions of dollars in another country. So it had me look just at everything that had been going on the past couple of years. And what he was saying was really echoing what Kanye was saying a couple of years ago. And if you remember what Kanye was saying, he was saying, we don't have these things. You know, we just do T-shirts.
Right.
I want to build something bigger. I want to be Ralph Lauren. I want to be Louis and Gucci.
Right.
And people saw that as him idolizing European brands, as opposed to him saying, well, these are the only models I have to make something that's legacy.
Right.
So I have to look to them and get on the inside. So now Dapper Dan is now aligned with Gucci. He has global distribution.
Correct.
We just got the numbers back from some of the most successful people this year. And Kanye is high on that list.
Right. He's number 3 on the celebrity
Number
top
3,
100.
70-something million?
150 million.
$150 million.
His Yeezy line did 1.5 billion in sales.
Yes.
And to do this in comparison, Kanye started this about within the last 10 years?
Oh, the Yeezy line?
The Yeezy line is 5 years now?
Less than that, I think.
Jordan sold 3 billion. And Jordan has been around for about 30.
Wait, so he sold half of what Jordan had
in 5 years.
In 5 years,
as compared to what Jordan did in 30, 40 years.
So what Kanye did was combine his influence, his talent, with someone who already had the distribution,
right?
Someone who already had the tooling,
right?
Because it would have cost him $150 million to even build a structure like Adidas.
And then so in the article that's talking about, that's what he was explaining about being $53 million in debt a couple years ago, where he's explaining that like it's all about building the platform to get it out to everyone.
Yes.
Because selling for a couple $1 million a year, and you see even all artists have done it. S. Carter's, Baby Fat. You know, you think about all the stuff that artists promoted or built.
But the margins are thin.
Exactly.
In the fashion industry.
So the moment that you can get on a platform where now it's out to the masses, okay, so now it makes sense that Kanye's selling $1,000 sweater with holes in it.
And there's no commercials.
Right.
You got to understand, like, their access and their ability. His social media is huge. Everything that he's doing is huge. But also what Adidas can bring globally. They already have access to all of the publications in Europe and in America. So it's just about pushing that in. And so now, because of his alliance, it's building their brand globally.
Adidas just got into a door that they couldn't get into.
They could not get into.
So it just now
they're moving right past Nike. Not yet, but they will be.
In just a different era, you know, a different sector of the game, you know.
You know who should be crying? Reebok.
Yeah.
Because they did this probably 10 years ago, started 10 years ago, but they didn't push it. They made it just like a flat thing, didn't want to share. Nike should be crying too. Because then if they would have kept Kanye, they would have totally demolished everybody. But they're not smart enough. And other people are going to be looking like, I'm going with Adidas because of what they did with Kanye. Because you guys can't handle it right.
Right. So, it just makes sense. And I think that you said something to me earlier that it made a lot of sense, where it's just like he's explaining where you don't have to sell to your own kind in order to allow them to benefit.
Okay, so this is my whole big picture. I've always thought about this. I've never exposed it. Money is about redistribution, no matter what.
Right.
Wouldn't it always be better if you're extracting from if you want to build your community, you don't just flow money around your community. You want new money to come into community. So you have to extract it from other communities.
Else, right, exactly.
You have to extract it, whether it's another country or another ethnicity or another village or another city. If you want your city to be built, you need to be extracting from other cities and flow it around your city. So if we are a community as people of color or hip hop, we want to be able to sell things to other people and bring that money back into our community in different capacities and flow it around.
Right.
We can start with our people And that will be the investment.
Right.
So if we're building something, just like we're building the loose cannons right now, it starts with our friends and family, and then their friends and family, and that's the foundation for how we're able to upgrade equipment, get it to a certain way, start doing marketing, get things out, and then we start to reach the second wave of people, which is new people who are coming to the platform, have no connection with us, and then the masses. So yes, the foundation is going to be people of your community. But after that, you want things to come out of other communities so that you can redistribute it into your community.
Correct.
So you don't have to just make products for your community. But on the back end, you should be hiring people that come from your community. Like if we had a producer, we would hire somebody that came from our community. If we had a videographer, we hire somebody that came from our community. But those are the things that you have to think about when you're building a business, and that's the smart way to do it.
To put this on a government scale, like I always tell people, we always wonder why we buy something internationally that we make domestically and we sell.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those reasons where it's just like, if we are buying something at a certain price and trading what we make here, it makes it easier for the domestic growth product to continually flow.
That's right.
To continually flow. And people don't realize that. They're just like, oh, well, if we make it here, why don't we just keep? Because it hurts our idea of capitalism.
Yes.
Because there's a certain necessity that we need to buy and sell at the same time, regardless of whether it's the same exact product. So
thank you.
Oh,
message. All right.
Okay, that was this week in social media?
This week in social media.
God dang.
Man, there was a lot that went on, but there's more that's going on.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum. This week in racism.
Yes.
Came out, it's all over the news. I don't even know why there was like a due date for it. Like it was like, on this date.
Get ready.
Get ready. Get ready, boys and girls. The ICE raids are happening.
The operation will target migrants who came to the U.S. recently, but officials warn others could be caught up in the sweep. California's governor with this advice to anyone here illegally.
I just want to say to folks that are anxious about a knock on the door, when we talk about knowing your rights, no abras la puerta. And without a warrant, you don't have to open the door. Without a warrant, you do not have to open the door.
Now, the goal of the blitz, according to Homeland Security officials, to send a message to migrants considering coming to the United States that the country does not have room for them. The vice president, Friday, asked by CNN if some children will come home to find their parents gone. No, he wouldn't say no.
What happens if a child is at daycare or at summer camp, the parent is arrested? Is that child going to go home to an empty house? What's going to happen?
So I think that the reason why they did something like that is because all of these places where people are on the list, like there's people who know that they're on the list, like their name and address is there. Yeah. And I think that it was one of those things where, like, your time is up.
Your time is up.
Like either you're going to find a new place or find something else, but we're coming to get you if you've been here. Because it's people who have already been here since before the system, like regardless. Yeah. So it's a tough scenario where now it's just like, all right, so now there's mass groupings. And I mean, like, this was, I think, around 10 cities, something around that number. All around the country. Borders, major cities, everything. They did it here also at Boston, New York, Miami, New Orleans. Where else?
Doesn't this feel like a little marketing to you?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's marketing on two levels. ICE is interested in people thinking that they're doing the job that they're supposed to do. And our president is also interested in people feeling like he fulfilled the promise that he set out to do. We're rounding about with all this Democratic, all the Democratic candidates who are in the news. I think he wants to trump that news with I'm doing what I said I was setting out to do, and I'm restoring the jobs and the people who were stealing the jobs. There's no way that they're getting millions of people.
Right.
it's actually retarded for them to say on one hand, we're overflowing in the population in these detention centers, but we're going to start rounding up millions of more people. So you're either overflowing or you have space to round up.
Right.
Or you have space to round up because you're building more facilities, and all we're actually doing is just supporting a whole nother industry of these detention centers, which are all just prisons because they're built by the same people.
Right. Oh no, man! I really don't have.
I just want to see, as people are getting rounded up, that I guess Indeed is going to be overflowing with job postings, right? Because of all these jobs that people were stealing on Monster.com. They should just be like, man, we need people to come and fulfill these jobs that
increase the salary. Like
increase the salary, right?
I mean, supply and demand, right?
It ain't happening. It's all a facade.
But there are always people on the other end. No matter as much people are getting rounded up, there's some people who are rounding up people for the right thing. Exactly.
And there's some people who are saying, you know, we're going to lobby as a community. This is our community, and we're going to hold it down.
Yes.
New York City.
Yes. Hometown, baby.
Hometown.
Where we at?
We always come together.
Yeah.
Necessarily. Power goes out.
Yo, not the TV show, but actual power.
First of all, that would have been a tragedy too, because I want to see what happens to Tommy.
Me too. Yes.
Ooh, it is coming back this summer.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna be on that. All right, New York City, power goes out.
Yes.
J-Lo's doing her concert.
Yes.
A-Rod is in the front row.
Yeah.
Baby, you doing it. J-Lo.
Lights go out.
First of all, that's some scary ass shit in MSG.
Yeah, I know.
Especially in New York.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, they coming for the Russians.
They here now.
They here
now.
Do we know why the power went out in New York City?
No, I mean
the Russians. So we're just gonna say it's the Russians or Chinese, whichever one.
One of them.
They hacked into the grid.
I'm with it. I'm cool.
Or some kid.
Yeah.
or some kid from his dorm room in NYU. It's like, fuck
Shut
J-Lo.
it down.
Shut
it down.
Go back to Vegas.
So what did New York City go and do?
Came together.
Yep. So we had people who came out.
Yep.
Directed traffic. Look, directed traffic. All right, you come on, yo. Not the police.
Not the
people.
Police. People.
This is New York City, baby.
Just regular people.
The performers on Broadway.
Yep.
Came outside, performed in the streets.
What's the blackout? What's next? What's next? What's next? What's the blackout? Let me tell you about the blackout, baby. What's the blackout? Hey, what's the blackout? All of a sudden, you got low. You got low. Talking about New York. Talking about New York. It's so nice. Happy minute twice. It's a blackout. It's a blackout. It's a blackout. It's a blackout. It's a blackout.
Rent right here.
Yo, right here.
525,000.
Okay.
600.
Yo,
buildings out of life.
Can't hold New York down. Take the power away.
We don't need it.
We don't need it. We're good.
We'll entertain you.
Yep.
That's it.
I wasn't taking the train anyway. It take too long.
Yep. I'll just walk. All
right, but this is the first time I think we have more than one topic.
Yes.
On killing
with kindness. So New Yorkers came together.
Yes.
And this young man is just constantly impressing me.
He just turned 21 last week.
Just turned 21. Just water. I actually drank it.
Yeah.
I actually drink it. It tastes good.
Okay.
It tastes good. I guess the container is made out of sugar or something like that.
Oh, really?
So the way they made the cap is made out of some type of sugar type of you don't eat it.
Right.
You don't, but it's the way it'll break down.
Right.
And the container is made out of like one piece of something, whatever.
Right,
it's
I'm gonna check that
biodegradable,
out.
so it's not plastic.
Right.
Nothing is plastic on it, including the cap. Jaden Smith.
Yes.
Just water.
Yes.
He brought I don't know how many filtration systems, but he brought a filtration system to Flint, Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
This was a while ago.
Yeah.
He brought it. They created a filtration system. Apparently, he worked on Just Water since he was 11 because he saw what was happening at the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Amazing. But then he just puts the icing on the cake.
Yes.
I saw this truck, this black food truck, and it says, "I love you."
Yeah.
And they're just giving out food to people.
Homeless people.
Homeless people.
Started his first one in L.A.
Yeah.
Downtown, where there's for people who have never seen like homeless.
A lot.
There's like blocks and streets,
Yes.
tents, like houses that have been made.
Yes.
Just for homeless people.
Yes.
Like cardboard, everything, like a ridiculous amount of people. And he's out there giving food away.
It's a crisis.
Yeah. I didn't even know this until I had watched a podcast, I think a few weeks ago, but some of these cities, they ship homeless to other cities. Pay them.
Get out of here.
And get their ticket, a
Put
one-way
them on a
ticket.
bus and then-
Or, like if you're from Cali, like they send them to Ohio or something and give them some money to go be homeless somewhere else so that they can lower their numbers.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. But
we have the funds. We have the money.
We have the resources.
What was it? Salt Lake City? It was Salt Lake City. It was some city in which they cleared their homeless population by giving them housing.
Yeah.
It didn't cost them an outrageous amount
right.
because at the end of the day, what it requires when you're trying to watch over all these homeless people, what it requires when you're giving money to government programs and homeless shelters and all these different things, that if you just created housing for them,
right,
they're no longer homeless. And when they have housing and they have a place to bathe,
sanitary,
yep. They're likely to go get a job.
Yes.
And when they're likely to go get a job, they don't even need that housing.
Right.
They're getting their own housing because now I have a job. I want to do more with my life.
Yep.
Maybe I go to school. Oh, I'm in school. Now I'm fine. I'm starting a family. Everybody's good. One of the things is like the idea of the homeless people is that they're drug addicts.
Right.
Everybody's just a drug addict. You made a bad choice, bad decision. A lot of these people were just people who were living check to check.
Right. Exactly.
Like 70% of the United States.
And you have one tragedy and
so many people are one tragedy away from living on the streets.
Right.
Or at least living in their car.
Right.
Because there's tons of people living in their car. And then the next step is you lose that car, now you're homeless.
Right.
It can happen to you.
Right.
You can have your high school education, your college education, all kinds of education.
Doesn't matter.
You can still be homeless.
Yep.
And it's sad that no one really cares that much.
Right.
They don't really care that much. They may care enough to give you some change, but they don't care that much. And it's really sad because it's like, we can change it.
Right.
We can all come together, just decide.
There's so many studies that have been done. I think the last one I want to say was in Canada in the last couple of years, where they took the homeless off the streets, put them in housing, and it lowered the crime rate. It decreased the unemployment rate. It was like so many different things that happened just from that alone. And it was just like, but this is the one reason why we have candidates who are trying to pitch this universal income thing.
I
so
get
that
it.
Now everybody can have housing, at least since the red tape won't allow us to give them housing.
Yes.
So
kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
People are out there doing beautiful things, being beautiful people.
Yes.
The main event.
Yes.
We sat down. We hit the queue.
Yes, we did.
We paid our $14.99 monthly, which is going up.
I heard, man.
Mine is already up, I think, to $15 something.
Yeah.
It started at like $7.99.
Yeah.
When's it gonna end?
And they can mail a DVD to you.
They can
Remember
mail
that?
a DVD to you.
Dang.
But still, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Original content. It started as a short in 2017.
Right.
Apparently, it made its way through the festival circuit.
Yep.
Got in the hands of some producers. Got in the hands of Spike Lee with 40 Acres and a Mule.
Yep.
They made a full feature.
Okay.
See You Yesterday.
Yes. How'd you like it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. You know what? I had been working on a concept just in the fantasy, because I feel like we're constantly not seeing people of color in the light of just having adventure.
Right.
Adventure. So to see that they were able to weave adventure with also social commentary was a beautiful weaving. Let's talk about the movie a little bit.
Yes.
See You Yesterday. 2 young people who are in the 11th grade, I believe.
Eden Duncan Smith, I think her name is.
Yes, they're going into their senior year.
Yes.
They're
they
very
go to Bronx High School of Science.
Bronx High School. If you're from New York City, you understand.
Yeah, one of the specialized schools, Brooklyn Tech. Where
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. They like tinkering and inventing and fixing computers.
Yeah.
They're working on time travel for a science experiment that will potentially get them a scholarship.
Correct.
So that they can go on to college, MIT,
Harvard.
Wherever.
He wants to go to Morehouse.
Yeah. Wherever, so that they can expand and be better in life. Tragedy strikes. The young lady ends up losing her brother.
Right.
She loses her brother to police gun violence, which is going on. He was unarmed. He gets shot.
They assumed that he was him and his friend were the
robbing
2
a
guys
bodega.
who robbed the bodega.
That's right.
Yeah.
So boom. Something her mother says sparks an idea. The mother said, I wish I could go back and change it. She realized that they had invented something that they can go back.
Right.
But they had to upgrade it to figure out to go back to save his life.
Right.
They attempted multiple times. Different things happen. That's the premise of the movie.
Yep.
Time travel. Young black and brown kids set in New York City.
Yes.
In a realistic landscape. Great premise.
Yeah, definitely.
How was the execution?
It was way better than I expected.
Yes.
What was the last time movie that we watched that I was just like, the time travel thing didn't quite work. Doesn't matter. This definitely made more sense to me.
Yes.
As far as time travel. That they're given actual background information so that you can understand the concept.
Yes.
Which this makes it easy for everyone to understand. And well, my favorite part obviously is Michael J. Fox is the teacher.
Michael J. Fox is the teacher.
Yes.
I don't know if he's in the short, but I'm so glad that they brought him.
A salute to Back to the Future for all y'all. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It was great.
It was wonderful.
And he says, "Great Scott." I was like, he's acting a little dockish, you know. So that's why I was just like, all right, I like this idea.
Yes.
I like this concept. It definitely, the acting was great.
Yes.
For not just her and her and the friend, the boy who has a crush on her. The brother is a phenomenal actor. So definitely, I enjoyed it.
You know what I liked about the story too is I thought they were going to change it because that's traditional. The friend that's her best friend, that's normally the person who they would make her love interest.
Yeah.
But it seems like no, they're just friends.
Right.
He really just loves her like a sister, which was beautiful because normally that's the thing. It's like, if a guy's your best friend,
that's the one who loves you.
That's the one who loves you and wants to be with you. No, he just loved her.
Right.
And they both experienced tragedy in their own way that would make them risk themselves, their lives for each other and to save her brother.
So I definitely got. The story was unique and different, and it was that breath of fresh air, and I was just like, all right, well, this is what would happen. And I was like, oh, okay, something different.
The Jamaican accents were a little janky.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little janky.
They were just like, oh, well, I mean, look, you're going from the Bronx to Brooklyn. I mean, you're in Flatbush, but you couldn't
just
really
a little janky.
Right. I was thinking, was that Dougie Fresh? The guy in the alley. I was like, is that Dougie Fresh?
Right. Yeah. But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun and sad movie to watch all at the same time.
But it's current.
Yes.
It doesn't sugarcoat anything.
No.
And I like the fact that it didn't try to portray the cops as bad guys either. You know what I mean?
No.
It was just, you can tell it's a situation.
Yes.
And regardless,
it gave them the okay, we know it's a tense situation, but the way you approached it kind of messed up the situation also.
Right.
So like the approach and the tense situation, they're not taking away the fact that there is danger looming, but the fact that you introduced yourself in a certain way and then introduce your bias, that created the whole mixture of a person getting killed.
Right.
So all of those things are happening at the same time, and they're all true.
Right.
Bias and real violence is going on, you know? So it was executed well. I think the first 5-10 minutes I was trying to like, okay, where are we going? It kind of felt a small bit hokey.
Right.
It felt little Spy Kids at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But this is the type of movie that has one device that you're required to suspend. It's like Inception. You have to give yourself to the idea of this thing is possible.
Right.
You have to give yourself an Inception that it's possible to subconsciously get in the dream state with the person and then create things or extract or incept anything into their mind. So you have to sit down and say, you know what? In this movie, time travel is real.
Right.
And how they explain it to me is how it works.
Right.
Once you get past that, the movie is beautiful.
Right. So there was only one hole for me, and because you know me, I'm like, my big thing is blocking, especially as a director, and especially as a writer. So my biggest thing was, all right, they're not confined to where they can go, which is one thing.
They're not.
Like in time, they're not confined to where they can go.
No, they said
and then the second thing is they're not confined to where they can do it at. They just want to make sure that nobody else can
see them when they do it.
So then I come with, I mean, obviously as a writing aspect, and this has to be thought about later on, is, all right, so one, why wouldn't you go back earlier than the 10 minutes? Like, not that you need more than 10 minutes, but why not go earlier than that time?
Yes.
Period. At all. It doesn't matter. Anytime during that day before it happens.
Yes.
Why does it have to be right before?
Yes.
But I mean, like, I know that that's the vehicle for the movie, so you kind of have to push with it.
It is the vehicle for the movie.
The other thing is, why are you not getting closer?
Like
if this is the alley and you got like 8 minutes to get there, why are you not getting closer? Or why are you not going to the party? You asking to use the bathroom this day, knowing that no one's going to be in the bathroom that day at that time.
Like land in the house.
Right.
Well, I guess because we see what happens in the garage.
Right.
So the alley is the open space that they can land in without there being an issue.
Right.
And it seems like they have to leave the same place
and come back the same place.
The same place. So that's the only consistent place that they say they can leave and come back. I think that's also left for us to understand that part, because they don't explain that part, but you kind of see like, oh, okay, so they kind of have to land here. This is the open space. We see what happens in the garage. That's not the best place to do it.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
It was well written.
It was well written because it, first of all, I teared up 4 times. I teared up 4 times because it's like, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And they handled that well.
Yes.
Because the multiple times that they have to do this, something changes.
Right.
And I didn't see that thing going to happen and change that part.
Right.
And I was like, ooh, this is good. So now she's going to have to choose of who and then how that makes her feel. And she couldn't choose because their friendship is super important. So
it's got a big butterfly effect thing. So, I mean, like, I like the fact that they try to stay consistent with rules. Now, this is, like, my biggest problem with multiple universe theories, like, especially with, like, the concept of movies.
Yeah.
It's like, you can always go back and fix it.
Yeah.
But whenever you go back to your timeline, it still happens that way.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So we always like have this idea of a singularity theory where it's like, oh, regardless of what happens, once I get back to the mind, it's going to be normal. Like, what the things still happen in your universe, even if you go back and change it. You're just going to another universe. I don't know.
I guess like one of the only movies that kind of like explains it well, not explains it well because it's still hard to concept. Interstellar.
Yeah.
You remember when he's behind and he's able to travel the different lines
Thank you.
of it all happening at the that's beautiful because that was very important.
If you can grasp that concept, then you can see that like everything that happened in the past is because of the future.
Yes. So the you, it's still you going to attempt the same thing that was going to happen.
Right.
Because that's the one thing that they got perfectly right and that I enjoyed is that they couldn't meet themselves because themselves are there when they talk. Because they are traveling back.
Right.
The future them is traveling back, but the past them still exists.
Right.
And all those things are going to happen. They have to alter that thing from happening.
It's like it just becomes a loop because that past is witnessing the future affecting the past.
Yes.
Which is going to change the future past that point.
Absolutely.
You know? So yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely understand that. Sorry if that was a little bit too deep for y'all. But
listen, see you yesterday.
Yeah.
Good performances.
Great performances.
I enjoyed the cinematography.
Yes.
I enjoyed the look. And you know what I also liked is that they didn't build a time machine and they made it like something kids would have built with the tools that they have access to. And you know, just like if you have access to these tools, but you have a brain capacity that can do something more advanced, like this is what it would look like. And it was just a fun ride. It's a fun adventure. Yeah. It's a fun adventure. What would you say? Would you tell people to go see it?
Yeah. It's both. It's for kids and adults.
It is.
Like it wasn't like, oh, it's everyone could get something out of it.
I'm gonna show it to my daughter. My daughter's in Canada now. I'm gonna sit down and watch it with her. It does have profane language, so it's like it's a young adult movie.
Right.
And you know what? It really felt like it could have been a book also. It could have been a book series, and it would have been sitting next to like a Hunger Games or Harry Potter. So if any of those books, something you will allow your child to read, this is something you could allow your child to watch. No matter who they are, no matter what color they are, this was just a real good movie to watch.
I can, like you had said earlier to me, you could see it as a series. I would love to see it as like a 4-part series, like for seasons. Like I don't need 10 episodes.
Yeah,
give me a problem that y'all solve in 4 episodes, and I'm ready for next year. Like I can see that.
Yeah.
But go ahead, tell me what you give it.
This was one of those difficult things to actually score.
You want to give a separate score for kids and a separate score for adults? Would that make it easier for you?
I don't know. You go. Okay. Wait. All right. So the canon score that I would give it.
Yeah.
I really liked the movie. I really liked the movie a lot. It wasn't perfect.
No.
I'm actually going to give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Because it's a very suggestible movie. If someone says, "What did you see recently that I can go watch that I really enjoyed?" I'd be like, sit down and watch See You Yesterday and tell me you don't feel something from it. Because I had a fun adventure and I felt something. Right. It was just so current. Anybody who's living into today's climate, you got to feel something from it. Right. It's a 4.5. It's not a 5. It's a 4.5 for me.
Okay.
Where you at?
So I gave it a 4.0.
Okay.
I feel like for kids, it's definitely a 4.5. Like preteens and like
for kids, it's a great
movie.
It's a great piece.
Like growing up now in this day and age, and if I was like a preteen, this would be like my never-ending story. Maybe
we never had anything like this growing up.
For adults, I mean, it may be a 3.5. Like just because I know that some people won't be able to get over the fantasy aspect of it.
You know what? One of the problems with even us scoring is that we watch 2001: A Space Odyssey. We're people who watch Inception, Interstellar. We watch high concept movies executed at a super high level with a super high budget. Right. So even coming from us scoring it, we're scoring it based off of what we've seen high concept movies do. for an average person, this is probably a 5.
40 Acres and a Mule, yes.
This is a 40 Acres and a Mule
Yes.
5.
Yes.
This is a decent budget 5. Like, this is a pretty good movie. Most people who sit down, if this was in the theater and you took your child to sit down and watch this in the theater, your child would probably really enjoy it. And you as an adult would be like, oh, this was
good.
I wasn't upset with this. This was good.
Yeah. Good
now,
content.
if you're a person who's reviewing movies for a living, who's just constantly watching the
movies,
latest, and you've been watching James Cameron from the beginning, and you got Avatar in your brain.
Yeah.
The graphics is not going to be Avatar graphics, but they're not bad graphics.
No, they're not at all. They were definitely grateful. I was just like, oh, this was smart. Like,
they didn't do too much.
I was just like, oh, this was smart. Oh, that was good. Like, I guess
they didn't overdo it. It's not the movie that's saying we're showing you as far as technology is advanced. It's saying no, we're telling this story, and we're going to tell this story because it's an intimate type of story that we're telling.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really good movie. Big plus for 40 Acres and a Mule.
Yeah, definitely.
Big plus for 40 Acres.
He's got some good content right now.
Yeah, big plus. Oh, she's got to have it.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's not trying to do everything also. So I'm glad that he's just like, all right, I like that project.
Yes,
let's greenlight it. And
because
that's
it's just as important as putting Spike Lee as a director or as Spike Lee, Duck Goose. I tag this guy.
Right.
This is the guy you need to look at. And everybody's like, okay, let's look at this guy.
Right. And I kind of wish that he was able to do a deal with Netflix earlier, because I feel like he could have been so far ahead on the Tyler Perry line. Like,
absolutely
had all these, because I mean the production company is right there.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
I'm ready to see more. But we're obviously seeing more. Right. It'd be nice to see a lot more 40 Acres and a Mule production. It'd be nice, we'll take all this down, Spike, and we'll just put a 40 Acres and a Loose Cannons and the 40 Acres and a Mule.
Yes.
Listen, tag Spike Lee at Spike Lee. When we put this up on the gram,
tell them we're here for it.
We're here for it.
Yes.
We'll only review Spike Lee films.
I'm cool with that.
I take all this Tarantino. Who?
We should do some Spike Lee skits.
Yes. Yes, we will. At Spike Lee, guys. So, every week, after we watch the film and we sit down and talk, we pull some topics from the film.
Yes.
And we discuss it. Because movies are topical, and a lot of times they're constantly rolling around in our society, and that's how we pull and create. And so we like to talk about the topics that we see in the film. It's glaring about police brutality and unarmed people getting shot, but we've talked about stuff like that before. In this movie, one of the central focuses a person going as far as they can to save a loved one.
Yes.
And so I was thinking, how far would you go to save your family member?
Honestly, I would do anything and everything.
Anything and everything.
Except for spiders.
That's it?
I'm terrified. Definitely.
Not little spiders.
Definitely.
Not even on you, just on the paper.
Small spiders more than the big ones.
Done.
Yo.
Done.
I'd crash a car.
I built a spaceship dog to come and get you, but there was a spider in it. I had to burn it down.
Gotta start from scratch.
I gotta start from scratch.
I'm telling you right now. Look,
a year
I
later.
have no fear of nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Spiders.
Look, military, everything. Look, none.
Skydiving.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. No fear.
None.
No worries.
What if there was a spider on the cord?
Yo, I'm telling you right now, look, someone could rob me with a daddy long legs in their hand right now.
Like,
give me all you got.
Give me all your shit.
Yo, I'm getting.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, no.
That's a common fear.
Yeah.
It's a common fear, spiders.
I'm actually going to try to go get hypnotized, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get rid of just spiders, no other bugs?
Nothing. Reptiles, nothing. Snakes, nothing.
Really?
Spiders. Just spiders.
Just spiders.
Yeah, be a crocodile in here. I'd be like, crocodile. Yo, there's a house spider right there. I'm jumping up. I'm trying to climb up through the roof. Yeah.
Everybody kind of has those things.
Yeah. But I would and I'm very selfless. Like I see the value in all life. So I'm that type where it's just like It could probably be a stranger, and I'm willing to try. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna just be like, but I did it.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe it gets me into heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they look at my highlight reel of my life and they be like, "But you saved somebody," and I'd be like, "Woo, that was close," because I didn't think I was making it. Maybe you know,
I think that's what life is about, and it's like take it out of the context of saving. Like, you know, I believe we're supposed to constantly be doing things for other people, and not just for ourselves.
Exactly.
Whether it's family or it's just the extended family, the human race family, we're supposed to be doing things for other people. And in turn, just naturally, people would be doing things for you. But in specifics, like, I feel like just as a man in this society, I feel like we are supposed to be the protectors of our household. And, you know, like, I think one of the most gracious things and amazing things you could do is to put your life on the line for your family members. Or and that extends, you know, it's like, I feel like even like if I'm out with my daughter and she's with her friend and they're out together, that friend is now my daughter.
Right.
That my protection and use of my life extends to that person. You know, so it's like, and this movie was really beautiful about how far she went because she understands what it is to lose one person already. So to not lose another person was so important that she was willing to, essentially, there is danger in what they were doing. And so it was just a beautiful representation of like love for other people and love for family members, because if I had to, I would put my life on the line for many of my family members. Many.
I definitely agree with that. I understand that. I mean, like I've told you before, like I think that we live in this world where, you know, people are so divided, and I'm always trying to go out there like, we all people. Like,
all
it don't
of us.
matter. It doesn't matter how it is, who it is.
Yep.
And sometimes the drastic measure is what changes someone's mind at times. So that's why being selfless is so important.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times in which you can make an impact, in which if you don't take the opportunity, you won't make that change. And that change can't happen further down the road. You know? So that's why it's important.
True.
But what else we have for this topic?
Youthful ingenuity. I put that in there because we are the world, we are the future. You know, those words have always been glaring, especially in our era. And this movie represented that very strong, because I believe that millennials and on, we grew up in a time in which a lot of us have chose to not adopt some of the doctrine of our parents. And we've chosen to look at some of the things and the practices that our parents and other people have adopted and question them. And question them for their validity, and have decided to move against that. You know, like a person like Jada Smith, who's saying like, all right, so I guess I got to do something about this homelessness.
No one else is doing something.
I guess I got to do something about water.
Right.
You know? And, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, I guess I got to do something about cancer.
Right.
I guess I got to do something about the immigration crisis. I guess I got to do something about children who are in the foster care system. Correct. I guess I got to do something about education. You know, I believe that, I mean, in every era, there were people who were doing some things, but I believe in particular in this time, younger people are able to look back and say, y'all got that wrong.
Right.
We got to do this different.
Exactly.
And it started with hating people because of how they look in any particular capacity, whether it's ethnicity or race or whatever you want to call it. Or height. Or height. No.
Sorry.
But if you're an asshole, it's okay to hate an asshole. It's okay. It wasn't okay to hate him because he was small.
Right.
But once he spoke,
right,
that is on you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, so the youth they're going to change things.
Right.
We're changing things now. We're decided in this era because we grew up in the era in which we got the internet when we were preteens.
Mm-hmm.
We got the internet, and now we're utilizing that gift to distribute our voices around the world and start these conversations.
Exactly.
You know, so that's our youthful ingenuity. And Jada's youthful ingenuity is feeding the homeless. So, you know, the loose cannon say, you know, take your youthful ingenuity and create and build and do things that mean something to yourself first,
right,
to whoever's building it, and do things to have an impact on other people's lives.
Exactly. Make new paths,
Make
new
new
roads.
paths.
It's definitely something that is necessary.
Yep.
Where we at, sir?
Sibling love.
Ooh, okay.
We both have siblings. You have how many siblings?
I have a sister. Yes, definitely.
I have a brother.
Okay.
So we both have. Well, that's interesting. Right. So we both have siblings.
Yes.
And in this movie in particular, the main character is trying to save her sibling, her brother. There's a special connection that siblings have.
Yes.
And, you know, my brother, he's 11 years older than me. So our connection is in a particular way because a large part of my life, he was an idol, you know, because he's the older brother. He's the person to look up to.
Right.
He's the person who looks the swaggiest, listens to the latest music. You know, like in many ways, my taste for certain types of music was started with him. My interest definitely in certain types of movies was started by him.
Right.
So it's like, you know, and you're always going to be intertwined, especially a person who you've lived with, a sibling. Because I had my brother, we shared the room. So, like, living with a person creates a certain type of bond that can't be broken. Even if we don't speak consistently, you know, if we're not speaking every day, there's still a connection. There's still that if I had to lay my life down, I would.
Right.
So there's a bond that grows. And I see that in my children. I see that festering, that caring, especially with my youngest son. He got 3 older sisters. They're already motherly. So, you know, they're mothering him in a way and trying to guide him in a way. So there's a certain connection that siblings have.
Right. I feel like it's definitely you have a bond that's tighter than most because they're not quite a parent, but they're not quite just your friends. So
yes.
So much more. And to understand and see that and how that builds out and grows, and someone that is you could depend on for almost anything and everything. The topics that you really can't go to your parents with, or the topics that are too close that you can't really tell a friend.
Yes.
You know, so it's definitely something that I think that people don't quite understand, especially like not having siblings. It's tough for someone to understand unless they have had those friends that they've had for years that have almost always like family, you know? So, but I think that people definitely underestimate like the bonds that they make out in the world. Like it's something that's very important that where people are just like, nah. Like,
you can get brothers and sisters that have no blood relation.
And even if like it's just like, oh well, I always feel like I'm by myself. It's just like it's tough because you're not out there extending yourself, you know. And I don't know. It's especially after watching the movie, you see like some people are driven to do things that they wouldn't have the bravery to do themselves unless they're motivated.
Yes.
You know, so sometimes, you know, all you need is the motivation.
All you need is the motivation.
And the part in the beginning, which is great, is where he's like, because they have a parent who passed, he's like, ever since dad passed, like, I got to make sure that you do what you're supposed to and you go. And then she goes, but what about us? Why can't we go do it?
Yes.
You know? And it's like, that's when you see that bond where all them being mad, like the first 10, 15 minutes, like you see how much love and care there is right there. So it definitely makes sense. And I think that people underestimate that sometimes, don't see that or don't value that later on, you know?
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Created some great conversations.
Yes.
Great opportunity to sit down. Guys, listen, go watch it. See You Yesterday on Netflix.
Yes.
Stream it. Tell us what you think about it. This is going to go up on Tuesday on YouTube.
Yes.
SoundCloud, you can listen to the audio. You can listen to us on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes podcast.
But most of all, check us out on YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, the Loose Cannons Podcast. Come over and check out our visuals. We set up a nice, cute studio situation down here. We want you guys to check it out. And listen, join the conversation. After you watch the movie, let us know what you thought about the movie. What would you rate it?
Right.
Where did you think the movie went great or where it went wrong? We just want to continue this conversation with you guys. I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And this was the Loose Cannons Podcast, where every week we sit down and have a conversation about pop culture, politics, and movies and how they all intersect. Thank you guys for coming and sitting down with us. Hit you next time. Loose Cannons Podcast. Peace.
Peace. Free ASAP.